Welcome to Honest Whispers Unboxing and Inspection. On this video, I'll be unboxing and inspecting Psylocke from the X-Men Marvel Universe painted statue, released by Bowen Designs in July 7th, 2010. This is digitally sculpted by Jason Smith. It doesn't say or signify who the designer is. So in cases like this, I would give credit to both Jason Smith and Jim Lee, because this statue is based on Jim Lee's original design. I only inspected this once when I first bought this back in 2010. I had it in storage since. So this is the first time I'll be opening and inspecting it for over 10 years. Now, this box, it does come with a flap on the back. Right here. So it does have a little tab that tucks in, which I'll show you from an angle. And in cases like this, I don't want to just jam my finger, create any new dents or anything like that. So what I would do is kind of push this edge right here in, and then use like my fingernail or the tip of my finger rather than my fingernail. That way I could just kind of slide it out. And now I have it grabbed on both edges. And that way I'm not risking any creases or anything like that, or even ripping it. So you want to be very careful. Box condition definitely does help the overall value. So it just opens up, and I always want to be careful with these flaps as well, because I don't want the corners to crease or get dented. So in cases like this, it's easier to well, if you have someone who can help you, even be better. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll just hold this here and just let gravity do its thing. Just make sure you have a good grip, because last thing you want to do is slip and drop the foam protector while you're halfway up. You can either tip over or just kind of smash back down. So I'm going to go ahead and close this back up and set it to the side. And with this is one of the older ones. And although it doesn't say top or bottom, it does have a nice Bowen Designs logo. So I'm going to go ahead and set this down. Let me see if I could push this more forward. That way I could get better room here. So what I'll do here would be kind of look for a spot where I can kind of cut the tape, because last thing I want to do is just cut through and make a new line or anything like that. This is something where somebody might have I don't think somebody did it with a knife, but it does look like somebody, when they were packing it or something, because I would never create such a damage like that. Especially like someone, maybe they put a knife in and just try to cut the tape. That's why there's a crease, or not a crease, but rather a cut. Right here, there's a little piece that's kind of loose. My finger just barely gets into it, so I could do it that way. Or what I can do also is just slide the tip of the knife and just kind of pull the tape out without ever touching the foam. So I'll do that, and once I have enough slack, I'll use my fingers to pull it out and then just make a slit, and that way I can just cut the rest open. So I'm going to go ahead and peel it out. Now, because it has the Bowen logo on the top, I'm assuming this is the front, which usually is. So let me pull this out very carefully. And you want to feel the weight of the top, because sometimes if it gets stuck, or rather like if this part is stuck on this side, you'll feel how it's heavy. So I want to make sure everything is sitting down here. So as you can see here, the knife is just sticking out. Very fragile. You want to be careful with this. And more importantly, the sash that's floating right there, have to be very careful with that. So you can see the way they protected it. You have the foam, and as you can see with the plastic wrap, I never really took it out. I just kind of inspected it as is, or just by taking out the statue itself. So what I'm going to do is start with the base. Let me put this here on the side. I'll pull the base out, and you can see how nice and tight the wrapping is, since I never taken it out before. And base is very cool looking. I like how it has those, I don't know, it's like metal design kind of looking embellishments and lines. Kind of reminds you of like a circuit, or like a computer chip. And on the back, it is hand numbered. This is number 481 out of 1200. So 1200, very low as far as production numbers go. So let's see. I'm not sure where the front is at this point. I'm seeing that there's a good chance. Let me see. This hole right here is a little bit bigger than this hole, and it looks like her front foot, her right foot, has this hole. So let me set it, I guess, this way, which would be, so I guess this doesn't have anything to do with where the front is. So I'm just gonna place it down, go from there. Now with this, you want to be careful. I do want to remember exactly how the foam is placed. It is like stuck on there, kind of like, not quite like a sticker or an adhesive, but it's just been flat and smashed, I guess, for so long. So this does move. It's kind of like soft plastic, but man. See, I want to remember that's how it looked. Okay. So carefully, I'm just pulling this out. I want to grab the most stable part. Last thing I want to do is grab the knife and, sash or anything like that. So usually I go with the legs or the hip or even the waist. In this case, I'm going to grab both legs to slide it out. And again, as you can see, with the plastic, never been taken out. It's in its original, especially when you look at the face, it's in its original creases, basically. So looks like they wrapped it around rather than covering the whole thing. So I want to carefully, last thing I want to do is pull on it and then get something caught. So what I do is I'll slide this out. Again, not sure how they did this. So I guess I could either do it with the head or start with the legs. I think I'll start with the legs. Slide it out. So that's out here. Let me, for now, I'm gonna set it there. And again, I saw that the right foot one is slightly thicker. So, and last thing I want to do is scratch the base. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get one end in, lower the other one, and unfortunately you're gonna have to stretch. Yeah, it doesn't fully fit. You're gonna have to stretch the legs a little bit, which I really don't like. But let me see if I can get this down. There it is. Okay, it's gonna be a very snug fit. I usually don't like that because when you're taking it out, it makes it really hard. And sometimes last thing you want to do is break the leg, the ankle, or even one of the tabs. So for now, I'm just gonna leave it like right here. Although I can definitely push it in all the way, but as I said, once you put it in, it may be really hard to take it out. So at this point, I'm just gonna leave it like this for now and give you a better view right here. Okay, so here's the statue after setting it up. It looks to be in perfect condition. I do remember exchanging the statue a few times, maybe at least 2 times. One of the main reasons why is because the eyes tend to be a bit either googly-eyed or cross-eyed. This one, the alignment of the eyes are pretty much perfect. Everything on the hair, there's no broken pieces. Like this little strand right here sticking out would be kind of fragile. The manifested psychic knife. This certain tips, like right here on the right, of course the top middle one, the longest one, those little pieces, even right here on the bottom, those are pretty much fragile, so definitely want to be careful with that as well. And of course the sash, I have seen some of these statues listed with a broken sash. I don't know which one or both, but as I mentioned, very fragile. They are like soft plastic, but then you'll see that the way it's made or connected, I mean, it's very thin, so you could easily see how right here would break. And they even have a little foam piece that was wedged in between to keep it from breaking. And finally, the last fragile piece would definitely be the sword or the katana. And it seems the katana is pretty sturdy overall compared to the other little pieces. But the way it sticks out so much, it can easily get caught and end up breaking it. Of course, if that's the case, this arm right here, whether it be the wrist or elbow or in the shoulder area right underneath the armpit, would be a possible breaking point as well. And of course the handle too, but the fact that it's kind of short probably won't break. But she definitely looks great, and I really love the painting. I love how Her costume has a really nice gloss finish. I mean, it's very shiny. You could see how the light reflects off her butt cheeks right here, and very nicely painted. And while you have her skin has more of a matte finish, so her costume really stands out. It just tends to pop out. You can see how it shines with their skin tone being matte finish. I mean, her costume, it almost sparkles. And then everything here, the legs. So paint quality wise, it's great. Really is. I mean, I don't see much errors or mistakes. So everything looks great here. Let me do a little zoom out real quick. And I'll do a nice little spin here, because her silhouette is really cool. As you can see, her pose is pretty simple, but it really captures who Psylocke is as an X-Men. And the fact that she's holding a katana with her psychic blade manifested, and love how the wind is kind of blowing from one side to the other, so you could see how her sash and her hair is flowing right. And I even love how she kind of has that slight tiptoe, or one of her foot is slightly coming off, like she's about to take a step forward. Or perhaps even you could say she's, you know, taking a step back. And the sash, even though it's like very fragile, the way it sticks out, I mean, and looking at it from different angles, really just adds that cool factor. And again, everything's like perfectly proportioned. Her face actually isn't too bad, although it could look a little better. And I'll do a full video review on this, because I am considering selling this. But as a collector, I would only sell it if I get top dollar for it. Otherwise, I would definitely try to make a space for it to display it and keep it in my collection. But the value went up so high, and it is pretty tall. This is approximately 12 inches tall, maybe a little bit taller, although it isn't fully in. And that's reason why is because, I mean, if I kept this or if I decided to keep it and display it, although I don't have really any shelf space kind of tall enough for this, then I would put her pegs all the way in. But it takes a lot of effort and power to put it in all the way, which means taking it out is going to be a huge pain. So I'm just going to take pictures to list it and then put it back in its box so there's no damages. But the way it looks and everything, I mean, yeah, this is up there for any Psylocke fan. This is one of the best statues of her ever made, especially for something that's over now 10 years old. And just her butt alone is like, I don't know, I hate to say it, but it's almost worth the ticket price of this statue. So I would have her facing forward like this. Just looks really cool. So there you have it. Very happy that the statue is in perfect condition still. Thank you for watching. Until next time, continue reading the King James Version Bible and eat your vitamin C's daily.